G'day everybody, Nick here. Just give you a quick rundown on today's Charters TSR. Look, we've just finished, so if you're still waiting for some weights to get sent through, the paperwork's only just coming through. We've had a pretty big day. But look, like I said, the agent charted around 3,600 head this week, consisting of around 1,900 prime cattle and the remaining being store. Look, I would say that any of the heavier end, well-finished cattle were probably anywhere from 5 to 10 cents better this week. Second-rate cattle probably dropped back maybe 10 cents. And same in the store job. If you had good, pretty-looking weaners or good weight for age cattle, you're probably 10 or 20 cents above what has been happening. If you had the cattle that was second rate, you're probably back again. So, look, we'll rip into it. Any of the good heavy bullocks that are well-finished, plenty of cover on them, I think they topped out around 400 cents. So, it was very consistent around that $3.80 to $85, but there was the odd isolated pens that made 400. You step back into them steers that are a mouthy steer that was a bit slippery, you're anywhere from $3.40 all the way up to $3.60 on them, and they could have went back either to a processor or back to someone to put on feed. Look, we did have did have a bit of a yarding of good prime heifers there today. There was also, we got a couple of runs there in a few different spots, and the best of those heifers got up to 360 cents. Now, they were 550 kilos plus, and they were still, your four teeth heifers that were 500 kilos. So a lot of those prime heifers were anywhere from 348 to 65, I would say. But if you came back into those heifers that were at 450 kilos, 6 teeth, they were probably anywhere from around $3.20 to $3.30. Look, the cow run. There was a few lanes of good cows and then a few lanes of pretty ordinary slippery cows. And the better cows probably sold to the southern processors today, where they were kind of making anywhere from $3.50 to $68, I would say. But a lot of those well-finished heavy cows, $3.60. If you came back down into your 550 kilo fat northern cow, you're anywhere from $3.40 to $3.50. Step back in under 500 kilos, right? You get into the cows with plenty of frame, that had plenty of weight in them. They'll still make anywhere from $3.20 to $3.30. But if you had a lighter cow under 500 kilos that was in slippery condition, you could have made anywhere from $2.70 to $3, which the common denominator was around $2.70 to $75. The odd pen made $80. But if they were a little fat, fresh cow, they could have made anywhere from $80 to $3. So what's that bit of a lighter cow job? It could get a bit touchy. The bull job, look, the bull job probably kicked it, I don't know, this week. It lifted probably 10 or 15. So if you had any cull bulls and you thought about getting rid of them, get into them now, because those bulls are making anywhere up to $3.70 all the way up to $85. So that was the prime job. The store job, like I said, if you had good weight for age steers that had plenty of weight in them, you could have weighed anywhere from $4.20 to $4.30 if they went back to the feedlot. If you got into your Brahman, like you'd say an export steer or a 350 to 80 kilo steer, you're anywhere around $3.90 to $4.10 mark if they were a good number 5. If you had a number 4 on them, you were probably looking around $3.70. But overall, steer job was great. You had good little soft weaners, they were making up to $4.50 to $4.60. Little Brahmins were anywhere from $3.80 to $4. So that's around your $2.20 to $2.50 mark. Mickey job was pretty handy there today, $3.70 to $3.80 on most of the Mickeys in the yard. So that it held pretty consistent. But the heifers, look, the lighter heifers, like we keep saying, they're getting harder and harder to sell every week. If you've got a heifer under 180 kilos, be prepared to get anywhere from $1.80 all the way up to $2.50, because that lighter heifer job is pretty hard to shift. But if you get back into your heavier heifers that are 350 kilos plus, you're looking at anywhere from $3.40 to $3.50. You come back into your 300 kilo heifer, you're anywhere from $2.80 to $3.20 mark. So that heifer job has just held a little bit, but I think it could start stepping back there a bit. Right, they didn't have much cows and calves there. So any of the cows and calves until they started selling them, Justin. If we had a cow and calf there, I think the best of the cows and calves got 1,800, but the tail of them got 600 as well. So look, we are thinking we're going to have one sale next week. So if you got some cattle, ring us up and we'll make the decision by Friday. Thank you.